All right. So I wanted to share a story and a lick, or it's a series. It's a couple of phrases actually. It's but it's one of my favorite guitar players, and I had the honor of meeting back in 1993, Joe Pass. Maybe some of you guys never heard of Joe Pass, but if you haven't, look him up. One of the finest, greatest jazz guitar players that ever lived, in my opinion. But I became a fan of his back in the 70s, mid 70s, started listening to him and just was blown away with him. And someone I always wanted to meet. So I went to a guitar summit they were having at the Tampa Bay Performing Arts in 1993. It was Joe Pass, Leo Kottke, Pepe Romero, and Paco Pena. All four of those guys are amazing. Leo Kottke blew me away. They were all amazing players. Pepe was more of a classical guitarist. Paco was more flamenco. Leo Kottke fingerstyle. And Joe Pass was just straight ahead. Chord melody stuff was just off the charts. And interesting thing about that night, he was playing, and he was playing all this beautiful jazz chord stuff, and it was just jaw dropping to listen to him play that. Then all of a sudden, he says, he pulls out a pick out of his pocket and he said, I bet you guys don't think I can play with a pick anymore. It was just crazy. So he starts blowing all these single line notes, all this just amazing phrasing and just, blowing these, consistent flowing swing eighth note stuff. Just, it was endless. It was so good. And you could actually hear the chord changes over a single note playing, which is amazing. If you can capture that, you've done a lot. I always admired guys like that. I could never play jazz. I loved it. Just I would try to play it, and I say the word try because that's what it was. But so listen, got to hear Jocko. I mean Jocko. Listen to me. Got to hear Joe play, and it was like just a special event for me. And so I had a backstage pass. I can't remember how I got a backstage pass, but anyway, I had a backstage pass after the show, and I thought, man, I'm gonna go back there. I'm gonna hopefully get to meet Joe. There'll probably be all these people, and I have to wait in line and everything. So after the show, go down. It was a green room was underneath the Tampa Bay Performing Arts, and I went down there, and Joe is standing all by himself, smoking a cigar, and I'm like, wow, there's nobody around him. So I walk up to him, and I said, Joe, how you doing? He's like, hey man, I'm doing great, and we started a conversation, and he talked to me like we had been best friends forever. You know, I didn't ask him too many questions. I didn't want to, you know, overdo it or intrude. I'm sure he gets interviewed and ask all that stuff. So I just wanted to talk to him more. Hey, man, you doing all right? So we started talking about our family and stuff, and which was very cool. And I had to, I, I, we had three girls and a boy, so I was telling him about my family. And I was a younger man back then. I actually had black hair, and I believe I was probably around 40 some years old. I have a picture. We got a picture. I'll show it to you here. Where is it? Somewhere here. So anyway, here's a picture of me and Joe. I took that. Happened to have a camera with me, and so again, just stood there and talked with him for the longest of time. Before anybody, I don't think any. I'll be honest. I don't think anybody came up to get an autograph or anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure we stood there for 30 minutes just talking shop and talking. We did talk about guitars. I asked him about how many hours he practiced, and I got to ask him a few questions like that and what kind of pick he used. In fact, that's why I used this little pick, is because of Joe. He says, get it real hard, thick pick, small. But anyway, so I didn't have anything for him to sign. I didn't have, I didn't think I would even really get to meet him or talk to him that long. So we talked for a long time, and I said, I want to get a picture, but I don't have anything for you to sign. He said, oh, well, maybe next time. And I said, yeah, okay. So then he said, don't you give me your address? I said, really? And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So I gave him my address. So that that was in November, and the same year in December, right before Christmas, I get this in the mail. Oops, which is Joe Pass, the complete Catch Me sessions. This is some of his finest single note playing you'll ever hear. I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. But if you look, it says to Skip and Nancy, Merry Christmas, Joe Pass. And I thought, how cool was that? This guy didn't even know me from Adam and Eve, but he thought enough of me, I guess, to send me an autograph album at Christmas. And it was pretty amazing. And I never got to thank him because that next year he died in 94. This was in 93 and he died in 94. So I never really got back in contact with him to thank him. But he was an incredible person, very humble, and just a guitar player's guitar player. So anyway, I wanted to show you this Joe Pass lick. He didn't show it to me, but I learned it. Who knows when I learned it? But it's kind of a cool riff, and I kind of use it in places for when I'm playing blues. It's more of a jazz line than a blues line, but jazz and blues are pretty close related. So let me play the line, then I'll tell you how to play it. So here's the line. So that's over the 1, the 4, and then back to the 1 in the key of A. So, oops, hang on. So, and again, you can use this over. I use it, like I said, I use that sometimes when I'm playing a blues, so at least that, that. I think it's pretty hip sounding for sure. I believe it's from Joe's Blues, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did a blues thing. I read it, and I have a few manuscript books of his, and at one point I was trying to learn some of that stuff, and again, I'm just not a jazz player. I love it, and I love to listen to guys like Joe Pass, but can't play like that. Just not in me. But anyway, so this lick starts here on the 7th fret of the B string with your 3rd finger. Chromatically runs down 7, 6, 5 on the B string. 3, 2, 1. Then to the 6th fret of the G string with your 2nd finger. Then chromatically down on the D string from 7, 6, 5 with your 3rd and 2nd finger. So we got. Then you go up here to the high E string and play on the 7th fret. Do the same chromatic passage using your 3rd, 2nd, and 1st finger. 7, 6, 5. Then you play on the 7th fret of the B string with your 3rd finger. Now you can roll that finger up and like that, or you can play it with your 2nd finger, then slide that down, and that part is on the G string, 7, 6, 5. You can play it, roll it up, or you could like that, or I think the rolling your finger up is the easier part. So then you repeat that. So we got, my bad. Then you go on the 7th fret. The second time you repeat that, you go on the 7th fret of the D string up to the 4th fret of the G string with your first finger, to the 7th fret of the G string with your third finger. So we have, then you do a hammer on, pull off on the B string from the 7th to the 8th fret with your second and third finger, down to the 5th fret. So we got, to the 7th fret of the G string, to the 5th fret of the G string, first finger, to the 6th fret of the G string with your second finger. Let me play the whole lines all together here. I think that's all pulled off, hammered on, then that's all pulled off there on the B string. To the 7th. So that's why I wasn't a jazz player. But anyway, I love it. It's a Joe Pass lick that I learned, and having met him, just he was just a real gentleman, and he was a real deal. I mean, again, how many people would do that? You know, when I got that album, I opened that package up and saw that he had sent that to me. I was just blown away, because I mean, we weren't friends or anything. I mean, we kind of made friends that evening. You know, we talked for quite a while, but and I was shocked when he asked me for my address. You know, I was like, my address. I knew he didn't want to call me up maybe he wanted to call me up and give me some lessons, which I dearly need. But anyway, so that's my Joe Pass story. Again, great guy, and didn't live long enough. He died at 65, and I think he, from what I gathered from talking to him, he had a lot of drug abuse in his early days, a lot of cocaine and heroin use. We talked about that. He shared that with me too, and again, just a genuine, real guy, and to me, one of the most amazing guitar players that ever lived. So anyway, here's this line. I'm gonna try to play it with a backing track here, and so you can hear what it's gonna sound like. Hopefully, I get a good balance here. And by the way, I'm pretty new at doing this YouTube thing. I'm gonna probably end up buying another camera, hopefully, and buying some software and making the videos look a little better in the future. At least that's my goal. I've been playing guitar for 50 some years. I'm 73. Played bass guitar for a country band back in the early 70s. Was on the road in a tour bus when I was about 19 years old. And so I've been traveling all over the place and had the opportunity to play with some really cool people. If you want, you can go to my website. I think I have a link on my YouTube channel to my website. You can go up there and read my biography. I don't, accolades mean nothing to me. I play music because I love it, not to get awards or get, whatever. I just love to play. And I love to share, and I love to be taught too, man. Here's the thing about learning. You can learn from anybody. Um, I teach private lessons here at my home, and my students sometimes have showed me stuff. They'll learn something. I'll go, hey, show me that. So you know, always be open to learn from whoever. Don't put yourself like, oh, I'm not going to learn that from him. I'm better guitar player than he is. No, learn anything you can learn, Be a sponge, man. Absorb it. Learn. So, I'm going to play this lick over a track. I hope I explained the lick well enough. And again, later, probably after the first year, I'm going to get a good video program so I can do dual cameras or whatever and make this YouTube channel happen a little better. Because I love to teach, I love to share anything I can. I like to be an ambassador for playing guitar. So anyway, here we go. Let me play this. So one more time. Let me play it one more time. Hope you can hear that. Hope you can hear the track. I think you probably can. Anyway, learn the lick, and I hope you appreciated the Joe Pass story.